everybody, how are ya? Welcome to Lunch with Dad. Okay, enough of that, Billy. I thought we'd just start out with some music since it's Friday. Let's see, what might be happening? Oh, where did it go? Oh no, I closed. Oh, there it is. Yeah, here's the one we want. Come on, play. Okay. Star Wars Day, right? Star Wars. Before we get started, don't want anybody to do any spoilers. No Star Wars spoilers. This is a Star Wars free zone today. You can be sure we're not going to do any Star Wars spoilers. I haven't seen the movie yet. I have to go twice in the next 3 weeks, but I haven't seen it yet. Anyway, all right. But it's also, there's something else going on. We gotta celebrate a little Christmas.
You're a mean one.
Oops.
Mr.
Wrong one. Oh.
You really are.
Oh, we better do this one instead.
Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh.
That's Bach, the Voices of Liberty.
All the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. We're dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh. O'er the fields we go, laughing all the
My dream job is to sing with the Voices of Liberty. I just love those guys. Anyway, hi. Welcome to Friday. Was that fun? We're going to do things a little different today. Because we don't have a whole bunch of questions today, we're going to just take some time and slow down and do some Merry Christmas stuff and have you make comments and see what you want to say today and just kind of have a nice, easy, fun day. All right, so let's just get started. First of all, we've got to say thank you to Celebration Shirts. Our cool partners, Josh and his bunch, do a great job. All kinds of shirts. If you go over to celebrationshirts.com, you can see all kinds of cool designs for shirts. They'll even make you custom designs. We've got a whole bunch of designs in there too. We have our own store in there. Tatiana put a link down to our store down in the comments. But go over to Celebration Shirts right now. Like always, if you go to Celebration Shirts, you can get 10% off by just using the code SFM. Very easy. 10% off your order. CelebrationShirts.com. They got a lot of things going on over there. So go over and say hello to Josh and everybody over at Celebration Shirts and get your shirts today. All right, so what are we going to do today? First thing we're going to do, we're going to talk about a giveaway. Dad, it's that time of year. It's time to give stuff away. So we're going to have two giveaways today, two of them. The first one at 12:30, 11:30 my time. The first one at 12:30, I'm going to give somebody a book and the growth chart. Let's see, do I have that? I have it upside down. The growth chart. It's cool growth chart. Really, really cool. And a copy of my book, Dad's Simple Fun Magic Guide to Walt Disney World Planning. I'm going to give that away at 11:30. I got an alarm set, so as soon as that alarm goes off, we'll pick somebody that's here, a random winner, and you'll get a book. I'll sign it. Yeah, I sign it right here. Right here. I'll sign it. It won't be this one because I messed up the cover already, and you don't want this book. But I'll get you a brand new book signed, ready for you to go. We'll send that out just as soon. It'll probably be Monday. We'll send it out Monday. You might get it by Christmas. You might not. You know how the mail is at this time. So that's the first giveaway. And then the second giveaway, we're going to give away one of WDW Magazine's WDW After Dark calendars now. I put these together. This is really the calendar I put together. I pick all the pictures. You know, like this Christmas picture. Where is it? This is the current picture. This is the December Christmas picture. Pictures in here are just fabulous. This is just a beautiful calendar. I'm going to give one of these away at the end today. And I'll try to remember to do it live. So stick around to the end and you might win a calendar. And we'll try to get those out. If you get the information to me today, we'll try to get them out today. But probably will go out on Monday. Anyway, so we're going to have two giveaways today. So stick around. How do you enter? That's a good question. I don't think anybody actually answered it, but it came to mind. So how do you enter? It's pretty easy. All you got to do is hit that like button a lot. See those little hearts and those little thumbs up and all those things flying across the screen. I love watching that happen. So like or comment or share that you want the book, you want to win, just anything you comment about will get you entered. And we'll pick a random winner here at 12:30 and at the end. So be sure and do that. All right, so every perfect vacation has to have a plan. So we've got a plan for it right here. We got a plan for today. Like I said, we're going to do a little bit different today. We're going to follow kind of the normal schedule. But we got a couple of extra things today. And anything you want to talk about, anything you want to comment about, there are going to be a couple times where I ask you to comment. I hope you'll put comments in so we can make this a little bit interactive. All right, so here we go. The plan, we're going to start off like we do every week with the news. There was a little bit of news made this week. There's some big news made this week. Then I'm going to talk about the top 5 things I love at Disney Springs. We've done the parks, so we've done Magic Kingdom, Epcot, Disney Hollywood Studios, and Animal Kingdom. So this week we're going to talk about Disney Springs. And then we're going to talk about how to stay warm at Walt Disney World. It was cold there this week. So it kind of made me think, well, let's talk about how to stay warm this week. I have some year-end rants that I've just got to get off my chest. There's 3 of them that I want to do today. So I'm going to get my year-end rants off my chest, and maybe we'll make sure these get to the appropriate levels of Disney, like they listen to me. Actually, they do, but there's a couple of these that are really big and really been irritating me. All right, and then we'll answer your questions. We have 2 questions that came in on our channels this week, one on the Ask Dad channel and one on the Instagram channel. We don't usually get a lot of feedback on the Instagram channel like this, but there's a question that came in that we're going to answer right here live. But there's only 2 questions. You know, we've been answering 6, 7, 8 questions a week, 10, 12, one week it was 15. So that's going to leave us a lot of extra time to talk about things you want to talk about. So if you got anything you want to talk about today, just throw it down in the comments and we'll talk about it. You know, the old Toby Keith song. I want to talk about me. I want to talk about you today, not me. I end up talking about me all the time. It's time to talk about you. All right, so let's get started. What are we going to do? Start with the news of the week. Big news yesterday. It really was big news. Disney has purchased Fox. Now, what that's going to mean in the long run, don't know. Nobody really knows, and nobody knows with all the regulatory things what it's going to shake out to be. And we'll talk about this a little bit. This is one of my rants of the day. So, Disney bought Fox. We'll see what that means down the road. But it was a big, big news item yesterday. All right, also the second big news item. Yeah, right. The second big news item, Stitch is closing. Stitch's Great Escape is closing. I think we've heard this before. But Disney announced that it is closing for good after the holidays. So early January, Stitch's Great Escape will finally go away. It's only closed like 6 times in the last year. It's been over a year since it was announced that it was going to close. So Stitch is finally going to close again. Did you see the videos of the baby tigers? Stephanie Schuster, my assistant, is down at Disney World this week, and I think it was Wednesday morning. She posted some pictures. She was in Animal Kingdom, and Maharaja Jungle Trek had the baby tigers out. And I think she was there right after they first came out. So she got to see them playing around, and she posted some pictures. And then a little bit later, Disney posted a video. Those things are just cute. They're just precious. You just want to take them home and pet them and not think about that they're going to grow up into these 200, 300-pound killing machines. But anyway, they just look so cute playing with their mom in those videos that Disney sent out. All right. Next item that came up this week that I'm not real happy about. I got to just tell you, I'm not very happy about this. It's not one of my rants, but I'm not real happy about this. Flights of Wonder is going to close in January and going to reopen, I think it was in April, as a bird show with the Up characters doing it. Now, that may turn out to be fine. It may turn out to be fine, but I love Lights of Wonder. It's one of our things we do every time. I hope it turns out good, and the new show is as good as the current show. We'll see, but it's not something I'm real happy about. All right, and then finally, let's go back and play some more of this. Have you seen it? It's here. Yes, it is. It's finally here. Again, no spoilers here. This is a spoiler-free zone. If you put a spoiler up, we're going to delete it. We're going to throw you out. We're going to cancel you and hate you forever. You're going to have to walk the walk of shame. Anyway, I know it came out last night at midnight. Who's seen the new Star Wars movie? I know one of we were actually invited to the premiere. WDW magazine was invited to go to the premiere yesterday in Orlando. And we had one of our reporters was actually at the premiere in Orlando. And that was just pretty cool. It was pretty cool. She got to go and see BB-8 and C-3PO and got to go walk the red carpet. And, she had a great time. Loved the movie. But again, no spoilers. She didn't give us any details. So, have you seen the movie yet? Are you planning to see the movie? My mother called me. Now, my mother is not in the best of health, but she called me the night before last. She called me the night before last. Oh, and Mrs. Mom is sticking her head in because she's mad at me about this. My mom called me the night before last and said, "Will you take me to Star Wars when you come over next week for my birthday?" Well, Mom, sure. I'm a good son. I'll take you to Star Wars. Now, we had it planned for the whole family to go on my birthday, which is a week later. But so I had to break down and say, yeah, I will take you to Star Wars, and then I'll go again with the family. Oh, shucks. But anyway, yeah, so I'm going next Friday night, or next Friday afternoon. All right, so let's see. There's a couple. That's a question. That's a question. Okay, so we got some questions already in. We'll get to those in a little bit. Just making sure there weren't any comments just yet that I needed to address. Again, if you have any questions, any comments, throw them down in the comments, and we'll get to them. We want to talk. I want to hear what you have to say today. All right. So what do you think, Star Wars? Are you looking forward to it or not? Are you going? Yeah, stick it down in the comments. Tell us who you're going. Tell them, I'm going to Star Wars. Love to hear it. All right, so the next thing we're going to do, the top 5 things I love about Disney Springs. Now, I got to say that a few years ago, downtown Disney was getting to be a place that I didn't really want to go to. There wasn't a lot there. There were some cool things there, but it wasn't somewhere where I would plan to go when we go on our trips. If there was something going on, we'd run over there. But that has changed over the last couple of years with the change to Disney Springs. The new things at Disney Springs are really cool. And Disney Springs is becoming one of my go-to places when we go to Disney World. In fact, we'll talk about the little trip we're going to take in January. Mrs. Mom said, we got to go to Disney Springs and go. Well, the first thing I love about Disney Springs is what Mrs. Mom and I are going to Disney Springs for. And that is to go to Wolfgang Puck Express. Wolfgang Puck Express is my favorite, by far, my favorite quick service restaurant at Walt Disney World. Cosmic Rays Starlight Cafe is kind of a close second, but Wolfgang Puck Express is just really, really good food for Disney, a reasonable price. You get a half a chicken and green beans and mashed potatoes for under $15, I think, if I remember right. That's just for Disney. That's a really good deal. So I really enjoy Wolfgang Puck Express. We are getting to where we planned it. We've been there the last 3 trips. We're going next month. It is pretty much our go-to place when we go to Disney World. The second thing I love about Disney Springs is Splitsville. Now you say, bowling alley? How boring is that? Well, Splitsville's not your normal bowling alley. The old bowling alley, at least I grew up with, where it was smoky and yucky, and nobody went there unless they were in the league, and it was kind of a dirty, dingy place. So that's not Splitsville. Splitsville is a cool place. 2 years in a row, the last 2 years, I've thrown a party at Splitsville and invited my contributors to the party at Splitsville. And I just got to say, we've had a ball. We've had a fun time. I haven't bowled there. I think I threw 3 bowling balls in the 2 years we've been there. But we just had a really, really good time. Now, we had some kids there, and they bowled. Some of the other people bowled, and there was a little competition between some of our photographers that got a little, not heated, but it was a little bit of a competition. But it's just a lot of fun. If you're in a group, Splitsville is a great place to go as a group. The food is surprisingly good. I know we've had pizzas and sliders and French fries and all kinds of stuff, but the food there is surprisingly good. So the number 2 thing I love about Disney Springs is Splitsville. Number 3, while we're talking about food, these kind of all have food in them. That's because I'm not really a shopper, so shopping doesn't really catch my eyes, except for, I'll get to that in a minute. So the number 3 thing I like about Disney Springs is Sprinkles. Sprinkles cupcakes. We went to Sprinkles for the first time. Mrs. Mom and I stopped by Sprinkles for the first time on our last trip. What was it? In the end of October, 1st of November. The first night we got to the Disney World, we went to Disney Springs, ate at Wolfgang Puck's, and went over and got some cupcakes at Sprinkles. We'd never tried their cupcakes before, but that place is kind of cool. It's got an ATM. It's got a place where you can buy cupcakes in an ATM. But we went inside. They packaged up the cupcakes, really, really nice. And, it actually took us a couple days to eat them, but man, when we finally got into those cupcakes. The best cupcake I've ever eaten was at Sprinkles, that chocolate velvet cupcake. Oh, I want one right now. It's just that kind of, I love that cupcake at Sprinkles. All right, so the 4th thing I love about Disney Springs is the amphicars, the new cars that ride in the water. Now that's just sounds so cool to get in a car and go for a nice romantic ride, sun setting in the west, and go for a ride in the car, in the water at Disney Springs. Now, don't want to do it in December, but summertime, nice cool breeze coming over the water when it's hot. It just sounds like a wonderful way to do things in the evening. I haven't tried it yet. One of these days, we're going to try one of those amphicar rides. And the 5th thing I love about Disney Springs is the new ambiance, the feeling, the atmosphere, the live entertainment going on all around. The people walking around seem energized, and they're not walking like they used to, with their heads down, going just trudging to their next. I got to check this off because I'm supposed to get something at this particular place. It's become brighter and happier and just a whole lot more fun. I really enjoy going over to Disney Springs and just spending some time at Disney Springs. Oh, and I don't want to forget this one shopping. Let's do one shopping thing. Let's make it a 6th thing. The Disney store, the big Disney store right up in front with Stitch spitting at you. That Disney store you go in. It's so big. There is so much stuff, and you can get lost in that Disney store. In fact, Tatiana, my assistant, who's helping me today, was telling me yesterday when we were talking about what to say today. She was telling me she and her boyfriend were in Disney Springs, and he slipped off and bought her a birthday present, and she didn't even know about it. They got back to the room. He gave her the birthday present. When did you get this? While you were in the Disney store at Disney Springs. Probably was downtown Disney at the time, but The bottom line is, I just love going to Disney Springs now. It's just so much fun. The Wolfgang Puck Express, Sprinkles, Splitsville, the Disney Store, the amphicars, and the feeling, the ambiance. It's just a whole lot of fun. What do you think about Disney Springs? Do you like it? Do you hate it? What kind of experiences have you had over there? In fact, here's one. Pamela says, we went to Disney Springs in 2013, and then just a couple of weeks ago. Could not believe the difference. Needed a map just to find our way around. It looks gorgeous with all the decorations too. Aaron says, last time we went to Disney Springs, we loved the living statues. Disney Springs is pretty cool. What do you think about Disney Springs? You've got Pamela and Aaron. What else do you think? What else have you seen at Disney Springs? We'll put it down in the comments. We'll be glad to talk about it. All right. Like I said, we're doing things different today. Okay, so it's Christmas time. How do I get into this? My transition thoughts are just gone out of my head. We're having a big sale. I'm having a big sale on all of our products, on our calendars, on our books, on our whatever this is, our photo book, our coffee table book, our growth chart. Come on, brain, work. We're having a big sale over at the best of WDW.com. The link will be down in the comments. Put dashes between all of those words. the-best-of-WDW.com. That's where we sell all of our stuff. We're having a big sale. Free shipping through Tuesday. Now through Tuesday, you can go and the stuff is all on sale. The prices are just really good. Plus, you can get free shipping in the U.S. and now through Tuesday. You just use the code free shipping, no space, free shipping, one word, at checkout, and you'll get shipping free. That's at least a $5 savings. Shipping on everything is $5 for the first item and like $1.50 for every extra item. So you get free shipping now through Tuesday. Now, will it get to you by Christmas? If you order Monday, there's a good chance. After Monday, not so much. But order today. If you order right now, it'll get shipped today. So order right now, and it'll get shipped today, and it should get to you as long as you're in the continental U.S. It should get to you in time for Christmas. So order today. Go now. Order a bunch. These things are good stuff. They're cheap. They're not cheap, but the prices are really good right now. Okay, so go to the best of WDW, the-best-of-WDW.com, and order your stuff today. Get free shipping. That's a good deal. Thanks, Dad. You're such a nice guy. All right. So here is another comment. This one's from Steven. Steven's a regular. Steven says, I'm at Disney now, waiting to be seated at the Garden Grill. And I have advanced seating for the candlelight processional tonight as well. Man, Steven, who's doing the candlelight procession tonight? I could look, but just tell me who's doing the candlelight procession tonight. Now I'm jealous. I'm usually there this week, and I'm kind of jealous that I'm not getting to do Christmas at Walt Disney World this week. Okay, so let's see. Time for some more music.
I really can't stay.
But baby, it's cold outside.
I've got to go away.
But baby, it's cold outside.
This evening has
Been hoping that you
so.
It's cold outside. I know. I got out this morning. It was cold. It was cold at Walt Disney World this week. So it triggered in my mind, we're doing this how-to series every week. So that triggered in my mind that we need to talk about how to stay warm at Walt Disney World because it gets cold in Orlando in December. Now, I will say that 1 year ago, I was at Walt Disney World December 13th last year, 12th, 13th, 14th, that time last year. On the 13th, it was like 90 degrees on December 13th last year. It was hot. Wasn't so much true this year on December 13th. Our assistant, my assistant Stephanie, like I said, she was at Disney World this week. She is at Disney World this week, in fact. She comes home tomorrow. But she's been there all week this week. Some pictures of her, she showed some pictures and she was all bundled up because it was cold down there this week. So how do you stay warm? It is wintertime. So sometimes in the winter, even in Florida, it gets cold. I know a couple of weeks ago, I think it was last week, South Texas had snow, and I'm talking about latitudes south of Orlando, had 4 inches of snow. So how do you stay warm when you're at Walt Disney World and it's cold outside? Well, I got a few ideas. We've been there when it was really cold. So the first thing you need to do is you need to be prepared. You need to come with the clothes that you need. Weather.com will tell you up to 30 days in advance. They're not always exactly right, but it's you can kind of get general ideas about whether it's going to be cold when you're there. But you can see kind of what the temperatures are going to be. Be prepared. Bring your cold weather clothes. If you've got them, I mean, most of us live in colder climates. That's why we go to Disney World in December. So bring your cold weather clothes. Bring sweatshirts. Bring layers. Layers are really important. Bring layers. So as the day, typically what happens in Orlando is the mornings are very cold when it's cold. The mornings are very cold. It warms up during the day and it cools down again in the evening. So you might want layers. You might want a jacket and a sweatshirt. And during the day, you may have to take them off. That's what we use the backpack for. There are lockers in all the parks that you can rent where you can put your clothes if you need to get rid of them. So bring layers. Don't forget the hats and gloves. That's where a lot of heat from your body will escape through your head. So it's really good to wear a hat and really important that you have gloves on when it's cold. Those are some places that we don't usually cover up that really are important to cover up. So hats, gloves, layers. Be prepared. Know what's going to happen. Hey, and if you forget, I know we've bought, 1 year we had to all buy sweatshirts. We have some Disney sweatshirts we bought because it was cold and we didn't have enough clothes. We all got a set of Disney sweatshirts that year. So you can buy stuff. I know Stephanie had to go buy some leggings this year. The second thing is stay away from large bodies of water. What? Large bodies of water? Yeah, large bodies of water. When the wind comes across the water, it gets cold. I know we went to Tepanito, and it was before it was Tepanito. This is a long time ago. The Japanese place in Japan where they cook the food. You know, the chef cuts the food and cooks the food right in front of you. We went there, and we went really late, and we got out after illuminations, after everybody's out of the park. It was like 9:45 at night. We got done and we got out of Tepanito. And we're parked in the parking lot, or we were staying in the Polynesian, I forget what. We had to go back to the front of Epcot. So we have to walk all the way around the lagoon to get to the front of Epcot. And it's like 38, 39 degrees, and there is a howling north wind coming across that lagoon, and it's just freezing us to death. I mean, it was just awful. We were so cold. So stay away from bodies of water with that wind blowing across. It's kind of like in Carousel of Progress, where Uncle Orville is sitting in the bathtub with the ice bucket and the ice and the fan blowing across it. You know, the coolest place in the house. So it's like that. Stay away from large bodies of water. Third way is to go swimming. What? Dad? Go swimming? That's kind of silly. Up, there's the alarm. I'm going to turn that off. That alarm means it is time to give away our book. All right, so we've got a book and a Tatiana, if you can get me a winner, we've got a book and a growth chart to give away. Aaron Doherty, you get the book and the growth chart. All you got to do is send us a message up there. Send me your name and your mailing address. By the way, I just see Aaron Doherty made a comment. So, Aaron, you won. Send us a message. Yeah, Aaron. I see the heart. Send me a message and I'll get that out to you. If you get it to me today, I can get it out to you today. All right. So where was I? All right. So going swimming. So going swimming while you're at Walt Disney World, the pools are heated. So in the pools, it's really warm. They keep the pools heated all year round. Not so much in the summers, but in the winters, the pools are heated. The main pools, when it gets below 50 degrees, they are closed because they don't have the lifeguards in them. But the quiet pools, the auxiliary pools, and the hot tubs all stay open. There's nothing better than a warm hot tub, 104, 105 degree hot tub on a cold winter's night, jumping in there. Now, it's a little cold when you get out, but that's another way you can stay warm at Walt Disney World. The other way is to stay indoors as much as you can. It's like when it's raining. It's about the same as when it's raining. You stay indoors. If you're at the Magic Kingdom, you can get from Main Street all the way to the end of Main Street. You can get from the entrance to the end without ever going outside by walking through the shops. There are lots of buildings and inside places in Walt Disney World. All of the parks have a lot of indoor stuff. Animal Kingdom is not as good as some of the others, but because there's a lot of outside stuff at Animal Kingdom, but most of the other places have indoors that you can stay in to stay warm. Now, in the mornings, you might want to stay inside, do the outside stuff in the afternoons when the sun's out, when it gets warmer, then go back inside for the evenings until the fireworks come. So you stay inside as much as possible. And the biggest thing, let me go with this other one first before we get to the biggest thing. Excuse me, I got to take a drink. Excuse me. Okay, here we go. So the drink hot drinks, drink warming drinks. Just holding those things in your hands can warm you up. There's nothing better than a hot glass of cocoa walking down Main Street when it's snowing during Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. I don't think I've ever seen it snowing at Walt Disney World other than that. But, you got the fake snow. It's cold. It's gotten a cup of hot cocoa. Just about the best thing ever. And then the last thing, and probably the most important thing, is have a plan. There's, when you come out, know what you're going to do next so you can go directly to it. Walking down, stopping, looking at your map while you're outside, that just doesn't make a lot of sense. Have a plan. I'm all about having a plan. So have a plan. Let's see. Okay, so your comments. Here we go. Don't forget, put your comments down in the put any comments, questions down in the comment section. We'll get to them in a little bit. Aaron says, free cocoa at Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. Yeah. Carol says, buy a Mickey sweatshirt, or 2, or 3, or 4. You might buy a Goofy sweatshirt, but buy a Disney sweatshirt. There's lots of cool Disney sweatshirts all over. Going back to the candlelight processional we just talked about, Pamela said, we will be at the candlelight processional. We did a candlelight processional a couple of weeks ago. They met the guest speaker, Matt Bomar, in person the next day at Star Tours. That's kind of one of the cool things is those announcers, they're normal people. They some of them get out and get on the attractions. So it can be really fun. But all right. I got some rants. I got some rants that I want to get off my chest. It's year end. By the way, this will be our last lunch with Dad for the year. So I got some things that I want to say to Disney. We'll probably put this up in a blog post and see if we can get Disney's attention with these. But there are three things I want to rant about some of the things that have been going on. First is last week I got a message from somebody that had just gotten back after Thanksgiving. And they talked about how dirty everything was at Walt Disney World. Wait a minute, that can't be right. But then I remembered a few years ago we were in Epcot on a Saturday of the Food and Wine Festival, and there were people everywhere, and there was trash everywhere. I mean, the place was dirty, and this is a problem. Disney, this is a problem. This was one of Walt's really pet peeves. This is what separated Disney from other theme parks. This is what separates Disney from other theme parks. If we want to go to a dirty theme park, we'll go to, I'm not going to say another name, fill in the blank. But this is what Disney, this is what separates you from other theme parks, is your cleanliness. Now, I know over the last few years, you've been in this big push to right size your employee base, which has really meant that you've cut the people that help keep your parks clean. And this is something that will ultimately reflect badly on the crowds. Now, I know crowds are up, and you don't have to listen to me about this, because crowds, one of these days, that's going to turn. And this is going to be one of the reasons why. I know last year you had a little speed bump, and the summers you definitely had a speed bump on crowd levels. But if you want to separate yourself from other parks, you have got to keep your parks clean. You've got to keep the maintenance done. You've got to do that painting that you used to do every day. Main Street used to get painted every year from one end to the other. You've quit doing that kind of stuff, and it really is showing. And there will come a day where there will be a reckoning for this. So rant number one, clean up the parks. Number two, yay, you just bought Fox. Oh, you paid $52 billion for what? Avatar? What on earth did you want to spend $52 billion? You could have invested that money in your own stuff anyway, don't get me started. Okay. But the bottom line here is you're going out and buying innovation. You're not doing it yourself. You're growing by just buying other things. Walt was all about innovating. I mean, look at what he did. He changed movies. He changed full-length cartoons. He invented that. Cartoons with sound, movies with sound. Walt invented it. The theme park today, Walt invented hundreds of things I could talk about that Walt invented. You're not doing that anymore. You're not even making real new movies. You're not taking anything to the next level. You're just going out and buy what other people. Pixar is great, yeah, but you didn't start Pixar. Lucasfilms, great. You didn't start Lucasfilms. So. Yeah, this Fox News thing, it might grow your empire, but it's time for Disney to become the innovator again. It's just one of the things that has really bothered me, that you've lost your innovation. All right, so that's rant number two. Rant number three. What do Avatar Land, Toy Story Land, and Star Wars Land all have in common? Anybody know? Anybody know? What do these all have in common? I know there's a little delay, so by the time you answer, I'll be long gone off of this. But here's what they all have in common. You're spending hundreds of millions and billions of dollars on these lands to get 2 rides. Each of these lands only have 2 rides. Toy Story Land, 2 rides. Star Wars Land, 2 rides. Avatar Land, 2 rides. It's just almost embarrassing that, you spend $1 billion and you only get 2 rides out of it. Avatar Land, close to $1 billion, 2 rides. And one restaurant, 2 rides in one restaurant. Yeah, the land is beautiful. Yes, the rides are incredible, but it's just sad that you cannot. It's like this. It's like going to eat a steak dinner and only getting steak. You're not getting the sides. You're not getting bread. You're not giving us salad. You're not giving us even a dessert. All you're giving us is these big, massive, yeah, they're great. They're beautiful. It's a beautiful 30-ounce ribeye. It's slathered in butter. I mean, it's perfectly medium rare. But that's all I'm getting. I'm not getting what a full meal because you're focused so much on these big, huge money rides. And really, it's only one money ride and a kind of a throwaway ride in all 3 of these lands. There's just not. I did a little this morning, actually. I did a count. Do you know that there are more rides in Disneyland and Disney California Adventure, that 160 acres in California, just 160 acres in California? There are, what was it, 9 more rides at Disneyland. 9 more rides at Disneyland and California Adventure than there are in all of Walt Disney World. 75 rides and attractions at Disneyland, Disney California Adventure. 64 at Walt Disney World. And that includes the 2 new Avatar rides. You add the 4 new ones from Star Wars and Toy Story, and you still don't get to as many rides. You got 24,000 acres. Build some rides. I went to Disneyland a couple years ago, and the thing I loved about it was there was not so much the big things, but the little rides. You go over to the Bugs Life area, and they're like 4 cute little rides. Now, these things are chintzy, and they're cute, and it's kind of like at Disney World. It's kind of like the rides over in Dinoland. Those rides over there in Dinoland, Hester and Chester's adventure area. It's kind of like those rides, and not even as well defined as those rides. That's what is missing at Walt Disney World. Is there should be each park. I mean, it's down to where in in Hollywood Studios, there's only 7 rides and attractions now. And then 4 new, that'll only bring it up to 11. That's just sad. So Disney, think about these cheap rides. Won't cost you much to build them. You could take that $500 million that you spent on the last big upgrade you did, the Fantasyland upgrade, that $500 million that you spent there. You could put 50 rides in and just make this really not a problem. It'll also help with your crowd problems. Trust me, it will help with your crowd problems. All right. Those are my rants. Comment Sonia says about the dirty parks. It was dirty at times, and the lack of maintenance was there when we were there Thanksgiving. Aaron says, lighter note about the trash. I miss Plush. Yeah, push the talking trash can. Yeah, I kind of miss him too. So what do you think about all of these things, about the rants that Dad has? Put them down in the comments, and we'll talk about them. All right. I've been talking forever. Now I got to hurry. All right. I'm going on a Disney cruise. We'll just skip that. I'll talk about that later. I can talk about that. That's not for another month, so I can talk about it. I'm going to skip that too. So we'll do that later too. All right, so let's get to questions. If you have any questions, throw them down in the comments. We'll get to them here in just a minute. I only have 2 today, so it won't take long. All right, here's the first question. This one comes from Erica. This one is probably the hardest question I've ever gotten, and I'm serious about that. So here we go. I want to go to Walt Disney World, but my parents say we can't. How can I convince them to go? Erica, I don't know your family situation. I don't know if this is going to be possible. I'll give you some ideas. Your parents may not have the money. There may be reasons they may not be able to get off work. There may be reasons why you can't go. But all of those things aside, if they're just not Disney fans, then I got some ideas. So here we go. Here are some things that you can do, and anybody that's dealing with a reluctant family member about going to Walt Disney World. The first thing to know is some people just aren't cut out for Walt Disney World. Some people aren't theme park people. Some people aren't Disney people. Some people just aren't cut out for it, and it won't work. There's no amount of wheedling or pressuring or doing anything like that that's going to help. All right, so the first thing you can do, Eric, is sit down and throw a fit. Cry about it. Just every day, cry until your parents take it. No, I'm just kidding. That's probably not a good idea. Although, no, just don't do that. Don't do that. All right. What you can do is find ways to show them what you love about Walt Disney World. WDW magazine. If they'll let you, get WDW magazine. Every month there's 100 beautiful pictures of Walt Disney World. Sit with them, go through it, share WDW magazine with them. Get you one of these. This is a photo book about Walt Disney World. Yeah, I know I'm talking about my products but these things are incredible. These things really are the best out there. And you've got beautiful pictures, and you can show them what you want to do at Walt Disney World. And then there's always the calendar. Stick up a calendar. It comes with stickers on it, and you can kind of play with the calendar. They're just kind of show them what you want to see at Walt Disney World. Another way you can kind of do it is show them what they would like at Walt Disney World. If they're foodies, I know Tatiana, I mentioned her earlier. Tatiana, my assistant, that's doing all the questions today. Her boyfriend was not a Disney fan, and she got him to where he would go with her because she started showing him pictures of the food. Oh yeah, I could eat that. Oh, that looks good. And finally he said, okay, let's go. So another way is to focus on what they want. Talk to them about it. Tell them why you want to go. Tell them what you want to do when you get there. And then the last thing is save your money, save up. When you get old enough, just leave the grumpy gusses at home and go by yourself. So there are lots of things you can do. The bottom line is it's not easy when you're a Disney fan, a Disney lover, and you want to go really, really badly, and your family is reluctant. I know my mother-in-law, Mrs. Mom's mom, for years would tease us about going to Walt Disney World. She'd never been, but she says, oh, I can go to Six Flags anytime. I can go to a theme park anytime. I don't want to go to Disney World, just another theme park. Well, finally, after all the grandkids were born, nobody was going to have any more kids. We planned a family trip. We all got together and we got her to go with us. And the first day we went to the Magic Kingdom, when she first walked down on Main Street, she's looking down at Main Street at Cinderella Castle. And I mean, her knees literally buckled. I had to grab her, hold her up, and tears streaming down her face. And she says, I understand. Now I understand. So while people may be reluctant, usually when they first go, they'll fall in love. So you may have to work on them. It's tough, depending on your family situation. It may not be possible, but those are some ways that you can try to get to convince your family to go to Walt Disney World. Okay, last question. See, I told you there's only 2 of them, and this one is a little quicker. All right, this one came in on Instagram, and the question is, Dad, I was at Disney and just did not see the Christmas decorations as normal. What's up with that? And I have to agree with you. I noticed this last year when I was there for Christmas. The Christmas decorations in the Magic Kingdom are only on Main Street. They're not any back. I mean, yeah, the Christmas shop is decorated. There aren't any Christmas decorations in Frontierland. There aren't any in Tomorrowland. Those used to be the whole park was all dressed up. You don't have the Osborne lights anymore. Several years ago, they took away the Jingle Jungle Parade. Epcot just didn't seem to have as much Christmas in it as they did. There used to be a stage set up just behind the fountains, which had a Christmas singing, live Christmas singing, that they took away this year. So there's not as much Christmas at Disney World as there has been in the past. Is there enough? Yeah, there's still a lot of great stuff. Don't get me wrong, but it's not as much as it used to be. Why is it happening? It's a money thing, I'm sure. Number one, it's a money thing. Disney is, money grubbing, so they can spend $52 billion to buy Fox. For some unknown reason. So it's a money thing. And I think it's also a little bit of the culture. It's kind of Christmas is not as in vogue as it was a few years ago. So there's a little bit of a cultural thing. Maybe not. I could be wrong on that, but I know Disney kind of thinks along those lines. So the bottom line is, you're right. Disney is not as Christmas as it used to be. And that's kind of sad. All right. So, let's see what you all have come up with. And by the way, questions, if you got questions, now's the time to put them down in the comments because we're going to get to them. Let's see, we got some comments that we haven't done yet. Pamela says, still running that they need another nighttime parade at the Magic Kingdom. They sure do, Pamela. That is exactly right. Valerie says, I agree with your rants. Thank you. I hope Disney is listening. Me too, Valerie. I don't mean to be mean by these. I want to get their attention. And hopefully they will fix the thing. Now, who am I to know what's wrong? But I am engaged and engrossed in Disney all the time. And I deal with people that are too. And I know what people want and what would be good for Disney to do. At least I think I do. Brad says, without a doubt, the lack of new attractions and shows in the land is frustrating. Absolutely. All right. And then Lindsay says, I struggle to convince my husband every year to go on another trip. It's very hard when you love something so much and your family isn't on the same page. That's so true, Lindsay. All right. So let's talk about your questions. There's several of them. So let's go back and catch up on them. Excuse me while I take a drink. Water. It's just water. All right, here we go. Aaron asks, if you buy park tickets or packages and you pay the current price and an increase happens, will you be charged when you book over a year ahead? Aaron, that's a really good question. And this is one that I would usually turn over to our partners at Destinations to Travel and let them answer. But here's what they would say. If you make a deposit or pay for a ticket, make a deposit on a package or pay for a ticket. This is why I always recommend you book early. Because once the deposit is made, your price is locked in. That's why if you haven't booked for 2018, book today. Now, get in touch with our partners at Destinations to Travel. The link will be down in the comments. Get in touch with them and book today. Make your $200 deposit. That's all it costs to make the deposit to hold your trip. It also holds your price because there is a price increase coming. Maybe not tomorrow, maybe not next week, but February, I guarantee you between now and February, a price on either tickets or hotels will go up between now and the end of February. So book your trip now. It could happen, probably not tomorrow, but it could happen in January. up until 2 years ago, we could tell you when the increases were going to happen. The ticket increase is the hotel cost increase is going to happen in June. Ticket increase, if I remember right, is going to happen in April. It was just like clockwork. Well, that changed. Last year they had a big increase in February. So I can pretty much guarantee you sometime between now and February, those prices are going to go up. So make your reservations now. Make your deposits. Deposit locks in your price. If you buy tickets, it locks in your price. Even if you have everything in your reservation, once you've made that deposit, your price is locked in. Now, if you change it later, it will change. But if you make a reservation, in fact, I know a lot of people, not a lot, but I've heard several people, the last 2 years, I've heard this, that they had reservations that they made in the year before, the end of the year before, and when free dining came out in April, it was going to cost them more to get free dining than what they'd ever already had locked in on their reservation. That taking out the dining package was still going to cost them more than the reservation price they already had. So make those reservations now. Next question. Here we go. Pamela asks, if we're planning a trip for late 2019, either the first week in November, right after Thanksgiving, or January 2020. We had such a good time with the holiday stuff. We want to do that again, but with Toy Story Land and Star Wars Land opening and the upcoming anniversary, I'm worried about crowds. Which do you think would be best of those times to go? And how late in January can you go and still do the Christmas party and see the decorations? Pamela, the last Christmas party is usually right around December 18th, 19th, 20th, somewhere right in there. That's the last Christmas party. So Christmas parties do not go into January. They do not even go into the busy time of Christmas. Once that they're about a week before Christmas is the last Christmas party. So you won't be able to do the Christmas party. Now, decorations do stay up into somewhere around the second week of January. Used to be that you knew the first Sunday of January, as long as it wasn't the second, third, or fourth, the first Sunday in January, the decorations would come down. That's another one of those money things that has slipped. And I know we were there last year, or 2 years ago, and decorations didn't come down. And well, no, we were there last year. No, that's 2 years. Whenever. We were there a couple of years ago in January, and we were there on the 15th, and they were still just starting to get the last of the decorations down. So that week, the decorations came down. So crowd-wise, if you can go before Christmas, like the 15th through the 23rd, somewhere around there, anytime before the 23rd, crowd-wise, you're okay. From the 23rd until about January 3rd is the prime time. Once January 3rd comes around, the crowds go down quite a bit. So you've got that week and a half or so after January 3rd that could work. All right, next question. Aaron asks, projects underway at Hollywood Studios, when will they be completed? Trying to decide on when we want to return to Walt Disney World. Aaron, Toy Story Land is going to open next summer. My guess is July, mid-July next summer. Star Wars Land is scheduled to open in 2019. I think they've even said summer 2019. That's still kind of up in the air, but sometime in 2019, Star Wars Land will open. So those major projects will be done at those times, summer 2018 and sometime in 2019. All right, here we go. Next question. By the way, if you have any more questions, put them down in the comments. I got 2 more, and then we're going to wrap it up. Here we go. So next question. Valerie asks, if you had a fast pass for Flight of Passage, what would the average wait be? Just wondering, since the average regular line exceeds 2 hours. Thank you. Valerie, we did this. We had a fast pass for Flight of Passage. And I also was using an ECV, one of those cards, those little buggy things. So, we weren't going fast by any stretch of the imagination. So we were going through and it's kind of a long walk even through the fast pass line to get up to the front of Flight of Passage. But when we got up to the front of Flight of Passage, it was park the ECB and get on the ride. There was no wait. It's not like you're going to have a 10-minute wait. Less than 5 minutes is very typical on Flight of Passage. It's very well controlled. All right, so next question. Last call for questions again. Sonia said we basically, she says the same thing. We walked on the Flight of Passage with a fast pass, maybe 5 to 10 minutes both times we used a fast pass. The ride is totally worth the wait. Okay, so here is, and it's going to be the last question, so it's time to quit. Hello, I'm planning a trip with 4 older children. How many days do you think we need to be at the parks? I'm concerned that since they are older, they might get bored at times. Thank you. And that was from Stephanie. Stephanie, how many days? I would plan 6 days in the parks. That's what we always plan. Now, to say that, don't spend all day in the parks. Go to the parks in the morning. Go to the parks in the morning. Be there when they open. Be at the parks in the morning when they open. And enjoy the low crowds of the morning. Then in the afternoons, go to the hotel, go swimming, go to one of the water parks, go mini golfing, get out of the parks for a little while and do some of those, whatever would be fun for your children. Find those things. Go over to Disney Springs. There's cool stuff. There's movie theater. There's Splitsville. There's all kinds of cool stuff at Disney Springs. Find those things that your kids are going to enjoy and make days of it. Then come back in the evenings and do the evening activities. If they ever get a parade, the evening parade back at the Magic Kingdom, but every park has an evening show now. There is an evening show at every park, and they're all good. In fact, at Hollywood Studios, there are 2 shows that you can't see in the same night. You cannot see Fantasmic and the Star Wars fireworks in the same night because of the time overlap. So if you've got park hopper passes, one of those nights, instead of going back to Epcot in the evening, you go over to Disney Hollywood Studios and watch the other show. So I think 6 days is about the right time for a Disney trip, even with older kids. I mean, we took our kids, and they were at the time, this is before, they were 19 and 24 when we took them on the last trip when they were kind of older, before they got married. But the last family trip we had before they got married. And they're kind of Disney lovers and Disney nerds like I am, but they didn't get bored. Yeah, my son gets bored in the Tiki Room. Yes, he gets bored in the Hall of Presidents and in the American Adventure, but he takes a nap. There are things that are going to be boring. Yes, the Carousel of Progress is boring to some kids, but there are plenty of things to do. Let them go off if they're old enough, let them go off on their own and do what they want to do. Get them involved in the planning. Start bringing that love of Disney to them and that excitement and that joy. Start building that excitement. And you'll know while you're planning together how long to spend. It will become obvious. They want to do all this stuff. I want to go back and do this. Let them go back and do things. If they're into roller coasters, one of the most fun things we did was we did a roller coaster day. We just started and we went and did roller coasters all day. So think about things like that you can have fun with them. Get them involved in the planning. Just enjoy being together. All right. So I hope you enjoyed today. I hope being able to comment and getting your comments in made this a little more fun. And I thank you sincerely for supporting Dad and supporting Lunch with Dad and being around. I just can't tell you how much I appreciate you all. Hope you have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We'll be back on January. What is that date? I covered it up.
Oh,
January the 5th. January the 5th will be our next Lunch with Dad. say big thank you to Celebration Shirts for supporting Lunch with Dad. Go over there. Go to celebrationshirts.com. Go to their Facebook page. If you need T-shirts, they're the place to go. All right. Last thing is, don't forget the free shipping sale. And we're giving away a calendar to Autumn Lynn Baldwin. Autumn, you won the calendar. Send me your address, and we'll get that out to you today. Anyway, Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. We'll see you next year. Thanks. Have a great holiday season. Bye-bye. Thanks so much for watching Dad's video. For more simple, fun, magic Walt Disney World information, go to Dad's Guide to WDW.com. You can do that by clicking the I button that's popping up on the screen right now. If you like this video, go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel and get more Dad's YouTube videos with Daditude.